This happened on a weekend, dead in the middle of winter. I'm an only child and 7 years old. This night, my parents finally agreed to my pleas to go to Chick-fil-A for dinner. It was around 7 p.m., but since it was winter, it was already pitch black outside. We showed up, and we went inside to find the place was decently busy, though it was a weekend, so that was to be expected. We ordered our food, and I went to go pick out where we'd sit. I remember picking a booth in the corner, right next to the play place. Right as the server brought over our food, I quickly began eating my chicken nuggets, knowing that the quicker I ate, the more time I'd have to be in the play place. When I finished, I asked my parents if I could go play, and of course they agreed. I was inside for maybe 10 minutes, when through the windows I saw that cow mascot Chick-fil-A sometimes has out to interact with the kids. I instantly got excited. It was really rare to see the cow, as Chick-fil-A rarely had someone in the costume. I remember seeing him high-fiving the kids walking around the building. A few minutes went by, and the cow proceeded to walk up to the play place and open the door. I instantly ran up to him and gave him a high five. But just then, the guy in the costume gave me that hand motion to follow him, and without a second thought I did. We first went out the play place door, and then to my surprise the actual building through an exit in the back. At that point, even at my young age, I realized something wasn't right. As we got outside, the guy took off his cow mask. To my surprise, the guy was really old, maybe mid-60s. The guy was sweating really hard, and it honestly looked like he hadn't showered in weeks. I guess I never thought of what I expected the person who was in the costume to look like, but it definitely wasn't that. Seconds after he took off his mask, the dude started to literally pick me up. Now, at 7 years old, I didn't weigh that much, so he had no struggle grabbing me. Now knowing for sure something wasn't right, I squirmed to try to break free, but it didn't work. The guy proceeded to walk to a car in the very back of the parking lot. He dug in his pocket and pulled out some keys. My heart dropped when I heard the sound of the trunk of the car opening. My squirming intensified. I was full on screaming at that point. But luckily, before the guy could stuff me in his trunk, police sirens rang out. It was the most relieving sound I could have heard in that moment. The guy dropped me in reaction, got in his car, and sped off. About a minute later, my parents came running outside. I told them everything, and they were absolutely panicked. Apparently, the guy was caught only about 5 blocks away as the police saw his car speeding out of the parking lot and assumed it was him. The story goes that the guy who was in the costume held the actual employee with the costume at knife point in the parking lot, demanding he give him the suit. The employee complied and drove away, but called the police on him shortly after. Now that I'm older, I routinely think back to that encounter. If the cops had shown up literally 30 seconds later, I would have been in that man's trunk and he would have successfully gotten away with me. As far as I know, the guy was put in prison, and still is to this day for multiple attempts of child abduction.